Is this working? I don't even know. I think I'm live. I'm not positive though. Not tremendous at this. Let's see. Let's pull this over here. Is there a way I can like take this and move it? I guess I'll just have to leave this. How about that? Is anyone chatting? Can I see? Am I live? I'm gonna I'm gonna close this one. What's up, guys? I don't think anybody's probably there yet. Let's see if I'm live. Let's see. Is Beller live? Let's view his channel. What's this guy got going on? Is this an echo? Is it me? What's up, guys? I don't think anybody's probably there yet. It's me. Let's see if I'm
Extra
live.
burnt.
What's going on? Let's see. Is Beller live? Reese. All right. I've never streamed.
View his channel.
I've
What's this
never
guy got
done
going
this
on?
before. So let's just
Is
get
this an
into
echo?
it.
Is it me?
What's up, guys? I don't think. All right, we're here. This is a janky set. I haven't figured out how to do this yet. So let me set down my Xbox controller. Had to play a couple games, to get warmed up. Just get mad at some strangers online on a Monday. I worked this weekend, so off today. And a lot of thoughts, a lot of things flying around, trying to get myself oriented. I just spent like 25 minutes trying to get this set up, and I'm still not positive. I know what's going on. Let's hop over here. Do we have comments? We do. Jonah Reese, extra burnt. What's going on, guys? So today we're just going to rewatch. Um, uh, Never thought NRG would win, and I know NRG winning was crazy. Um, I never posted it. I wish I would have. But I did do my bracket prediction. Here, let me show you guys if I can pull up what I thought. This is like my personal. That's cool. Don't look me up. Um, this is my where's my prediction sheet? Is it this one? Yeah, it is. This is what I thought would happen. And then we'll get into watching some Edit Tim highlights just to kind of reorient ourselves. There was so much Rocket League that happened. Play-ins, we don't really need that. Let's go to the main event. Groups, obviously Carmine, shocking. Or Carmine not winning this, shocking. I thought Dig would go through. Did not think Wildcard would be able to do that, but really what everybody cares about is down here. This is what we had predicted. Didn't get it exactly how we thought, but I was pretty proud of a lot of these predictions. Just too much faith in Gen G. It's a personal affliction. So we did get it right, but when I was doing the power rankings all the way in, this is not what I anticipated. I thought that it was Carmines or Falcons. Never should have doubted myself. All right, let's check the comments. Who's here? We have people hanging out. Thoughts on the Scribbles retirement? It's a shame. We had heard that this might happen last split, right? We thought this might be the case because can I like expand this? Jesus, I have no idea what I'm doing. We thought this might happen. It was rumored to potentially be in the cards. What have I done? To potentially be in the cards because of schooling. He ends up sticking around for a little bit longer than anticipated. But I think it's a huge blow because I was leaving that major worlds being like, man, Scribbles could be a real piece. Him and Kofor, I'm really high on. I like Reveal too. I think he has a way to go. But yeah, I mean, losing Scribbles is like, you know, Paul George tearing his ACL like right as he's starting to ramp up in his career. It's a real bummer because we know he's gone. Maybe it's more like Grant Hill. Maybe that's a better one because Grant Hill never really came back in the same way. Um, but yeah, it's a real bummer. All right. I'm gonna keep trying to check this. Let's see real quick before we get into the highlights. We are here. Do we still power rank SSG high post Worlds? Um, it seems like do you remember even in the lead up to like Raleigh, is Kofor and Reveal were hanging out. It seems like they're boys, so I would assume that they probably still stick as a duo, and maybe they look to grab. It'd be interesting as we get into the postseason, just kind of thinking about how teams can go. But if they can grab somebody who's like kind of in a spot where um, they're looking to kind of rebound on their career, I think Hoxer's probably not that guy. Com's probably not that guy, but somebody where it's like, okay, now we have like a someone with a lot of experience who can kind of whip us into shape in a way that makes us seem more professional. That'd be exciting to me. Do I think Atomic should have won MVP? I almost tweeted it, but I was like, I don't want to be a hater. I totally thought Atomic should have won MVP. I think Atomic thought he was going to win MVP. When I was watching, Atomic's kind of like, like gearing up to like, yeah, oh, thank you so much. And then they give it to beast mode. But he was great defensively. The turnaround, awesome for me. Um, I think it's good that we get right into it. It was really difficult to have such a long off season. LJ to SSG, I'm sure he'd love to throw the decal back on. Did Wildcard peak or was Dignitas playing bad? That's one of those, it's probably both. Um, and there's so many things that are kind of tied up in that. My immediate thought when you ask that question is just the kind of the build up to it, right? Where Wildcard are looking awesome and there's literally no pressure going into the event. A lot of us, myself included, was just like, should we just like eliminate OCE altogether? That's a little bit of hyperbole, but they were so bad that it was like, I guess my fun fact about them and the stat video I made was that Torsas had been to a bunch of majors. Like I had no expectations, and them coming in with no expectations, getting a great warm up against a Furia team that almost certainly is going to be making some tough decisions this off season. Is this going to be a VOD? I have no idea. I don't know how to do VODs. This is the first time I've gone live. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to try, I suppose. And we will watch some highlights in a second too. It's just cool to see that people are here tuning in. Um, but back to the wild card point, no expectations. They looked great too. I mean, Torsas defensively, especially in the first series, was shutting down everything. And when you had Banana Head doing Banana Head things, 3-time OC MVP, but really for me it was Fever who was the difference maker. I mean, he was flowing at a different level. And when you get them peaking, and then a Dignitas team who, time and time again, I mean, the GK out, their demons almost got put to rest. They couldn't do it. But for them to come out a little flat, and for Wildcard to be hitting them early, and then you kind of get into your head like, oh my God, there's no way we're going to lose to Wildcard, right? And that's totally a team in Dignitas that can get into their head like that. And I'm seeing how this looks. This probably looks so bad. Like, if you guys are watching, I'm trying my best. Um, but yeah, just perfect storm for Wildcard. Beast mode for finals, Dana for the whole season. Seems fair to me. Do you think NRG make a roster move? I'd be shocked if they make a roster move. Them, Falcons, I think would be the most surprising roster moves. Carmine Core, like whatever. Like it seems like Europe freely move, but they're high up there for me as well. Who else do I think would probably stick? To be honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked if Vitality stick. Like maybe they look at the season and they're just like, look, we were like around the whole time. We just couldn't get out of our own ways. But those seem like 4 teams that are probably sticking. Abject to win it all. Yeah, I saw the trophy pick. I don't know if that's the team to do it. I thought Stizzy was awesome. And Jorius. Jack had a bad event by his standards. You guys want to watch some highlights? Edit Tim. Let's start on day 3, why don't we? This could be, excuse me, this could be a long one. Because look at these Tim videos. And he puts these out. He like publishes before the event's even over. I don't know how he does it. All right. Shout out Tim. Let's get into this.
fans around the world, welcome to
way,
day 3 of the Rocket League Championship Series 2025
Rocket
League World Championship coming to you live from Lyon, France.
But now finding themselves in the lower bracket, it is all of a sudden that both of these incredible sides do or die. First shot!
You guys want to let me know if my audio
they will turn to if they are in dire straits. They have been so far in the last couple of tournaments. Rewatching to the ceiling. Who's coming in? It's Nas. He shoots. Nubo gets the save.
But then when he is playing nice and loudly, goodness gracious, he becomes suddenly one of the top players in Europe when he was competing in Europe. In MENA for sure as well. Sent the opposite side to save. Top corner. And from the back of Radosin, the second goal in the game. Radosin given.
Because this audio honestly doesn't really matter, so we could just drop that a little bit. My audio's low, you can't hear me. Okay, let me see if I can fix that. Let me pause this. This is, you guys are figuring this out live. How? Well, maybe, is it a little bit of a delay? Because maybe it sounds good now. Here, let me do the classic Twitch streamer. 1, if it's now good that I fixed it. 2, if it's still bad. How about that?
Forwards. Nubo is already up. Rise
we'll go back.
Just Rocket League fans
restart
around
this for
the
a little
world,
bit of a test.
To day 3 of the
I'm gonna
Rocket
do
League
reviews on
Championship
everybody.
Series 2025
Drunken
Rocket
Mastery.
League World Championship coming
I
to you
wanted
live.
to. I didn't put out any videos.
But now finding themselves in the lower bracket,
like
it is
during,
all of a sudden that both of these incredible sides
because I just wanted to like enjoy it. It's still bad. Okay. Let's see if we can raise our audio down a little bit.
They will turn to if they are in dire straits. They have been so far in the last couple of tournaments. Rewatching to the ceiling. Who's coming in? It's Nas. He shoots. Nubo gets the save.
But then when he is playing nice and loudly.
Here, you guys are gonna see how inept I am at navigating this. All right, my mic audio. Let's move this over a little bit. Well, that's fine. Whatever. This is a great conversation, Base God, with the first killer profile picture. Look at that. Just keep video volume to like 5%. Yeah, my mic's good. Yeah, you know what, Jonah? Great call. Let's just mute it. Let's get into this. How do I need like a, you know what? I wonder, this is for future. This one's going to be scuffed. And if I try and go live in the future, I'll try and fix this. I wasn't even positive I was going live when I hit it. It was kind of a mistake a little bit. But yeah, let's get into this. Because it's a shame that I can't like, that I won't be able to see the comments as they come in, unless, is there a way? I wasn't even positive. Here, okay, so I'll get the comments on my phone, and I'll just like look at it this way. Does this work? Look at that. All right. So yeah, let's go full screen on this, and then I'll be checking the comments on my phone. How about that? This might have been, of course, Carmine and Falcons was crazy, but this might be this might have been the series, like the most exciting series of the entire tournament, in my opinion. I was so excited about this one. This might have been. It really was a disappointing end of the season for Twisted Minds, huh? They're exciting. I don't know. It just seemed like all season it was one of those situations where you love them offensively and you're just not a big fan of them on the defensive end. I don't know. It just seemed like they couldn't really put it together. Yeah, Rise on the Finnick, knew it was chalked. Yeah, not an exciting start there for sure. Here, I've propped my phone up on my laptop here. How about that? And then we can actually start like watching this series. Nas was so good. And you know, the thing that really stood out, like watching the body language and stuff, which I think is one of the most interesting parts. One of the most illuminating parts, something that we always don't get a lot of context on, like how these players are within like a group setting. Radosin constantly like, you know, pointing to his head, telling Nas and Oski like this is all mental. Radosin was just huge for Nas. I think seeing Nas go up another level, we always knew he was talented, but seeing him in these like big moment situations actually perform, when the rub on him has always been like his teams have been great until it's important. Wow, look at them getting hyped. Just huge. Nas barely keeps it out. Radosin just can't turn around on it. Yeah, Radosin was the leader they needed. And it kind of gives you more context now that we saw that Itachi put out his like official retirement video. I don't speak French, but that's what it kind of seemed like to me. I like this decal, by the way, that Nas was rocking. Not as good as Lost had this decal that was so cold, and Kofer's like titanium get up. That thing was nasty too, but I like this Nas decal quite a bit. Look at Radosin. What an inspiration. Atomic trying to just drop it down. Not super dangerous. Not a great clear. A lot of pressure here for Nip. And look, they go up too. I mean, this series could have been over. It's so funny how like we make these huge, and I'm guilty of this for sure. And it's kind of like how all sports go. Like you have to play the way that it ends up going, right? But the fact that Twisted Minds were like right on the doorstep to get this done is just crazy. And now they go out top 8, and it's like, damn, I guess rough season. NRG Ultimates was pretty good. We've just seen that so many times. And I even had, wow, that was such a nice shot. Just perfect placement. You could tell when I remember when I was watching this live, seeing him go up for it, I was just like, oh, perfect shot. What a bounce. Oski no boost, can't get back to it. Radosin can't stretch for it either. Perfect placement. But what was I saying? Oh, NRG Ultimates. We've just seen that series so many times, and it's always close. And I had put out like my power rankings, and afterwards people are like, you idiot. Like Ultimates and NRG was so close, and you think Ultimates is so low power ranked. First off, we were down to 6 teams. Second off, we've seen those two play tight regionally all season long. So the fact that that goes close doesn't really tell me as much about the two teams as, you know, if NRG were to have beaten like Ninjas or something. You know what I mean? Crowd was the highlight. It was so sad when Casey got knocked out. Yeah, I thought the energy and the crowd like overall were excellent. Was disappointed at times with how they were reacting to things. Radosin was the leader they needed. The slow-mo reactions were so nice. Great touch by production. Oski was ice cold. He impressed me a lot. I agree. I was impressed by the entire Ninjas kind of get up. More impressed by Nas and Radosin for me for sure. Falcons Casey semi worth watching back. It was probably the highest level Andy, probably the highest level Rocket League that we saw. Perhaps all season. It was great if you just want to see like what does the best of the best look like. Definitely that. A lot of pressure. The crowd's super into it. I'd probably recommend getting the full experience too, like watching the 15-minute lead up, just because like the way that the crowd kind of set the tone for the matchup. It was just a great all around. Very, very exciting. I haven't watched the 1v1 yet, Jonah. 1v1's not really my thing, and we're getting away from this series a little bit. Rise had a look. Nas perfect control. Rise just not really making any moves. Now he's stuck barefooted. This is a bad finishing sequence for Rise, isn't it? Because that's a ball that he could have put away but didn't. And then right here, I guess he's just trying to bait. But doesn't make a play on that ball. Doesn't make a play on that ball. Look at Atomic. Incensed. He can't believe it. Floats right past it. Dang. Hate to see it. Oh, the 1v1 was embarrassing? Yeah, I'll watch back the highlights. I know Tim put those out too. They go for a fake. Atomic not even close. Radosin's just going to kill, right? Yeah. Down they go. This is I talked about this beforehand, like the danger of an LCQ team snowballing, because like all the pressure there is on Twisted. this is actually, I didn't fully watch this series because I was behind for most of this day because I was at work. We had like a work event that I had to be at. Um, but this one I actually had playing. I was listening to the audio in my pocket while I was setting up for the event. So any of my colleagues who were like watching from a distance just see me like setting up and then just go like, yes, Magic Bear. Great pass. Oh, geez, I remember this one. A lot of those, it seemed like that was a play that a lot of teams were going for, and I bet we're gonna see, especially in North America, like that was an NRG special that they got a lot of their goals on, was those like over the back defensive shoulder. It's something, it's a more aggressive version of what like the old G2, like JNAP's Chicago and Atomic were really good at. Even like the Drees roster as well. But those passes from the sidewall and just a real aggressive over like the defender's shoulder, to just kind of laser one in, getting a lot of those. Do you think Falcons level dropped in the final? Kind of. I mean, I would say first and foremost, NRG looked incredible. Um, that's kind of how my read on the finals. NRG playing KC would have been sick for sure. Not surprised that it didn't happen that way. Great pass by Kofer. Also, these SSG jerseys were dope. Still sad we didn't get that matchup in front of the crowd. I agree. I think Falcons played about as normal. Yeah, I agree, Andy. NRG just looked awesome. It's what I was fearful they wouldn't be able to create all season. They had that extra like 15%, you know. Yeah, Stecky, that was something the Beast Mode Shift put out, like a post Worlds interview where they had like whatever you call that, like when you do in traditional sports, like the roundup of the players talking it through. And that's something I think it was Beast Mode had alluded to, that they really like that Falcons matchup a lot more. He said that he thought KC would have been a little more of a challenge. SSG had a ton of these 0-second goals. Double flip reset for Kofer and then the block. Man, that was a close one. We know they end up closing it out. Great, great dunk by Scribbles. Tough shot by Cheese. Wish you could have had it, but tough shot. Justin losing control a little bit. Yeah, that one stinks. Yeah, you can tell he's upset by that one. Wants to control this, but he has to get past reveal. Yeah, he just first touch a little heavy. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about Jinji. It's kind of exactly what we thought would happen. But just a bummer. Yeah, Bebo, I think that's like something like a deeper, like, you know, more macro thing, is something that I've thought about a lot over the years, just because yeah, thought about playstyle video. It's a tough one just because it's not as I think we're still so early in um in the esport that it's kind of tough to like know specific play styles and like the way that we talk about them and like the verbiage we use. And also it can be like Rocket League is so fluid. It is more like less play driven and more like just a general philosophy, which is something that I know the teams are really protective of. Like they don't want to tell teams what they're trying to do. Um, but it's super interesting to see like the different play styles. And also something that I was thinking about this Worlds is the fact that play styles aren't always it's not just one, right? Like teams, the better teams can do multiple things. I think about Falcons for sure, where they have that like super controlled, we're just gonna strangle you guys and make you make mistakes, and you know, fakes and you know, fakes in the box for two when you guys are on low boost and get you scrambling and panicked and all of that. And then they also have this more controlled ability where they can slow things down. So being able to have multiple play styles is something for sure. Interested to rewatch this one. I don't have a great memory of GK Virtus. I rewatched. I was behind on this day by like an hour just because like work kept happening, so I would just pause it. Good placement by Sphinx. Great. Just did they? Is this a team bump save? Does this go off of one into the other for a Catalysm lay? Joyo just like almost lands on it. Falcons getting drained. There's this interesting Geo who I was on the Wave Dash podcast with. I got to relook at it. He sent me this super interesting Discord message before Raleigh that like changed my perspective. I think if I remember it correctly, the team that plays like right before, like the team that leads in to like the one that has the semifinal the nearest to the grand finals won, I think, almost 100% of the time, which was crazy. And that was this one too, right? Because we had Falcons KC. Yeah, it was Falcons KC, and then NRG went right in and they win it. So something to keep your eyes on moving forward, because it seems like there's a correlation between being the second semifinal and winning it all. Oh man, Joe almost crunched that one. Ends up going in. Yeah, Oli's such a great finisher the entire event. His ability to once Joyo or Archie make something happen, and then Oli's ability to just be there and put it away, really stood out. Felt like the first to have rock paper scissors matchups. Yeah, right. NRG knocked out KC last Worlds in the semis. Vadi got nervous at Worlds. I didn't really feel like it was Vatira getting nervous. I thought that series was so back and forth. It just came down to moments. Like it wasn't like, oh man, look at Carmine Core like falling apart again. There's no way they can get over the hump. Like if you were to just roll it back and a couple like small things went their way, I totally felt like they could have won that series and won Worlds. Like I didn't feel they've had some collapses before. I didn't feel like this was one of them, at least me personally. And we'll see when we watch it back. Does VP have to disband? I don't know. That's an interesting question, right? I haven't seen the ruling on that. I've seen some train of thought that talked about like a grandfathering kind of situation for teams like them and Foot, and some of the ones that aren't currently within the context of the rules. But there's also a world where they just actually qualify if Sosa has like a residency there. So who knows? Scribbles retiring is a huge bummer. Yeah, I thought Drawley had some tough plays as well. And it's so funny trying to like talk about things online with like any kind of nuance because you're like, didn't feel like Drawley had a great semifinals and then the comments are like, "Oh, what? So Drawley's not the best player in the world? You're saying that Drawley sucks?" It's like, have you guys seen that tweet where it's like Twitter's the only place where you can say I like pancakes and people reply so you hate waffles. It really feels like that, where by Drawley's standard of what we normally expect from him and being the best player in the world, I felt like he had a couple misses too. There's of course the now infamous miss that he had on a difficult but an open shot um, to lose to KC on Neo Tokyo that we'll get to. Um, but I felt like he had a couple like tentative movements as well. And how did this overtime end? You see Archie standing up out of his chair. This goes deep. Sphinx tries to pass it. Pretty heavy. Um, Catalysm probably could have gone quicker, and then Sphinx is out of boost there and misses it. Yeah, just kind of maybe a little more control would have been helpful there. But hindsight's 2020. Really liked this Rock team. Bummer that they went out how they did. just because they were, you can see, very animated, which was cool. Beast Mode MVP. You can't hate on anybody who wins the MVP. I thought it was going to be Atomic. Sylvia, I don't know the answer to that. It was just it wasn't, I don't know if the research was that nuanced. It was more just like a very straightforward like team who plays the semi second usually. If not, I don't want to say always. I think it was usually, but it honestly could have been always because I remember reading it before Raleigh and then it came true at Raleigh, which was crazy. Because Falcons played the second semi if memory serves. Yeah, Archie looked so good. It was, of course, like the discourse that they earned, whether they wanted or not, was like, is this another one of those things where they look awesome and then they look terrible? Of course, they basically weren't even going to qualify for Birmingham, and then they did at the last minute. Um, and then the like Gen GK run, and then they just straight up miss out on Raleigh, and then they run people over at EWC. Had a super impressive Rolodex of teams that they had to beat before getting melted by Falcons. No shame in that. Um, and then coming in here, you were like, which version of Gen G, or excuse me, GK are we gonna see? And it ended up being a really, really strong version. Shame, of course, that both times they got eliminated. They got the break speed off of them. Falcons at EWC, and then here against Gen G. Once they were kind of starting slow, they couldn't get out of the funk. Who do I think Furia will swap? Well, based on Furia historical data, they're going to be looking at Swift. But I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I'm gonna need some more time to like really get my thoughts together on it, and I'll definitely change my perspective on what I'm saying now. And this goal was so crazy. You guys remember this one? Yan with the undercarriage bump. Trevino keeps his flip. This was so nuts. I bet Tim's gonna show it. Yeah, Tim to go look. He doesn't like land, so he keeps his flip. Such a crazy shot. Um, but yeah, who knows? Maybe they go that direction. Um, I don't know. I was so disappointed with like the whole setup. Who knows what direction they end up going? Um, maybe it's probably not. I don't think anybody really imports to Sam outside of Yukio. Um, I doubt it's an import, so they're probably going to be looking at Swift. But you know what? If I'm Swift, like my team's better than Furia right now. So KV1 and Mata might just stick. You know what I mean? And then they gotta go somewhere else. Maybe they look at somebody like a Diaz or I don't know, somebody like that. Randy, I maybe I'm just showing my ignorance here. What is like is there a big benefit of UE5 outside of just like graphics? I mean, maybe I'm just like not the person to ask here because I like Age of Empires 2 and I play like a lot of old school RuneScape, so graphics clearly don't matter to me. Is there like a technical reason why UE5 would be important outside of just what the game looks like? Because I honestly don't care if Rocket League looks like this for another decade. It doesn't bother me at all. I think it's a perfect game in a lot of ways. The ways in which it's like managed is imperfect, has some flaws, but the game itself, I literally don't care if they ever change anything about it. Oatmeal. I have not already. I guess I've discussed it. I adjacently. Um, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Vitality stick. Um, it's just I walked away unimpressed um by Monkey Moon in a big way, and I'm interested to watch these highlights that we have in front of us because I haven't really got my head fully around it. I of course was at least within the content that I consume, probably one of the biggest I was gung-ho about Vitality all season long, and it never paid off, so that was a big miss for me. I think Secret's good enough to stick to. I think Beast Mode has the best first man challenges in the game. Yeah, he's excellent at that. He was one of the first adopters to like really get like super proficient and commonly add ceiling challenges to his game. I mean, that's just a great shot right there. Zen backflips, maybe could have had it. Exotic control, great shot. Just eyes on the game in a creative mode. Yeah, that makes sense. Yo, Mo, what's going on? Monkey Moon has space, control, great pass. Zen, and then just like an excellent save. I don't know. Like plays like this, it's kind of one of those things where like, oh, thank you for describing Rocket League Bel Air, but it's like if you just have that one a little differently, like maybe it just, you know, it's tough because Vitality had a lot of those where it's like all season it was like, man, that team really peaked. Like Vitality just like runs into like a team that's like just on fire, and they have these like ones where it's like, I mean, Monkey Moon's got to hit that one. That's a season changer for sure. Then Oski, this one floats into the corner, right, and then they make something out of it. Just a crunch. What's the defense looking like on this one? So we're in transition. Nobody goes. Everybody's at a boost. Monkey Moon, bad touch. Exotic, bad challenge. Zen tries to go for the squishy. You know, you hate to see it. Monkey Moon sucked all season. I don't know if I would say he sucked all season, but he definitely was not how I have been thinking about him all season. Vatira and Zen, I was talking to somebody about this. I don't know. I think Zen might be too competitive for that. It's like the opposite of Kevin Durant joining the Warriors, where he'll look at it and be like, I'm not fucking joining them. You know, like I don't need that to win, but maybe he does. I feel pretty confident that at some point in their careers that team is going to happen. No way Vitality 6. Oh, Monkey, is there rumors that he's going to retire? I haven't heard that at all. Fury and Secret might do some swaps. Wouldn't be surprising. I mean, it would make sense. Um, Imagine Zen replaces Atau. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the move, right? But I wonder if like Zen wants that because of how competitive he is. I wonder if Drolly wants that. Drolly's like, ah, yes, we need to add Zen. Like maybe he's like, no, I don't need to. Like, we're good. John Morant, I'm good in the West. I'm fine in the West. He was notorious for roster mania. Yeah, I mean the people who won. It's a great point because the team that won Worlds last year was like, all right, good stuff. Let's switch it up. Modern development setups easier to extend, standardize what they. Yeah, not where physics being exact. I don't know. I just am so. It's always like it's just I'm all shoulders on that one. Whenever people are like, what we really need, like the number one thing we need and we're waiting for is UE5. I don't think that that's that important. Also, I rewatched this live because Radosin's reaction to this entire thing is so Radosin. This whole pinch, because they stick on his face cam and then it immediately leads to a goal. It's so funny. He's like, well, all right, well, then they score that, and Radosin just can't hold it. Yeah, man, that NRG, like that they were able to pull it off. You kind of felt like the tinglings of it coming into the event because they put out. Did you guys watch the vlog deal that they did? I mean, Exotic's got to have this one, right? Um, they put out like a vlog post EWC, and the big clip that made the rounds was like Atomic talking about grinding and like feeling better, and he's like, I'm confident that we're gonna have a great boot camp at Worlds. So you could already kind of feel it, and they have so much experience already. It makes complete sense. I wish I would have not been such a coward and had posted my predictions because I talked about them at the very beginning of this live stream. I showed everybody. I did not doctor them. And I had NRG winning, but I was too much of a coward to post it. How does this one? I can't remember how this came to an end. I've been just like eyes on chat. I haven't been watching this as much as I wanted to, but that's okay. We're going to do a bunch of replay reviews in the future. Anyways, this is for the people. Nas, I mean, great change of speed shot. God, they just got... Vitality can't even keep it close as they're getting eliminated. And of course, there's so much pressure. Like, we saw this pressure all season long. Even when, like, I don't know, I think they started the season kind of showing us how they were by the fact that they lost their first match of the season to Fast Forward. It's like, oh man, because there's all this, like, me and Edit Tim, who, shout out Tim again, we're watching his content. Hopefully that's cool. I'm sure it is with him. Even with, like, Tim and I put out a video preseason on his channel where it was like Vitality. I picked them to be like the favorites in the world. Clearly that was wrong, but you know, 2 world champs, Monkey Moon, Zen, like, I didn't feel like it was that ridiculous. And I think a lot of people agreed. But like, there was just so much pressure on them from the outset and they couldn't really overcome it. Zen or Vatira leaving their teams would be weird. I agree. I think both of them have just such fat paychecks as well. I wonder if NRG changed things around a bit. I'd be floored if they made a change. Huge EU changes. I know it's going to be so exciting. Everybody follow Achilles. Kofor, what a shot. I know, it really feels like one of those like Hollywood sports movies where you watch it and you're like, come on, like the NRG, but like it happened. Ooh. Great save by the retired Scribbles. That one just gets away from KV1. Great dunk. Scribbles all over him. Oh, Shift announced that they're going to be free agents. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. Nobu probably wants a better team. Is there a world where I think it's actually, I say Nobu, it's Nobo, I think is like how he said to pronounce it. Does Nobo go to Europe? That'd be pretty dope. Honestly, he probably stays in Mina and, you know, has another import. Maybe he grabs like Ghazi and then they pick up a European or something. They go Akatsia. Great redirect. Mata had a couple, like, I was so impressed by Mata at Raleigh, and I still am. Great misdirect by Reveal there. But there were a couple, like, defensive things where you could see him being like, like, there's even one, I can't remember what series it was in, but my brain remembers this, like, moment where he was like, you know, wish I would have got a better first touch on that one or would have scored that goal. Just not a perfect event from him. And then he kept getting put in these tough positions defensively as well. Daniel's way better than Chronic. Yeah, I agree. Where do you think Kofor lands next season? I think it's him Reveal +1. I think they're boys. And in this esport, I think a lot of times you want a team with your homies. Juicy and Seiko free agents, not shocking at all. Burn that team to the ground. It's very interesting, though. Rebuilding around Eugen. I wonder if Eversack stays. Because he's been with those guys for forever. Eugen restricted free agent for mates. Man, Gentlemate's really retooling, huh? Maybe a hot take, but Yan might be the problem. That's what I think I got away from that point, Peter. That's kind of what I was alluding to, is like, it's like, well, who are we going to change to retool around Yan because he's our best player? It just seems like time after time I've walked away with like just a like a, Yan wasn't really what we thought he was going to be, especially in best of sevens. His stats are poor, to say the least. Lost is my favorite player on the team, but I understand where, you kind of have to, like, there's just some Yan offensive ability that you have to take into account. It's a similar situation for me, and look at Stizzy just flowing on him. I'll get back to my point. You guys can probably tell by now in my videos and this live stream that it's very difficult for me to stay on topic and finish a thought. But it's similar, Yan to Joyo. Oh my gosh, that was so clean. It's similar to Joyo, where they're both the most like mechanical players on their team, and they have the craziest highlight package. But when it really comes down to it, it's tough to win. It's kind of like a LaMelo Ballish kind of thing. I think they're better than LaMelo in the context of their relative sports, but you get what I mean. What messages am I missing? I talk for so long. Imagine Nupo, Nush, and Ghazi. That'd be crazy. Cassio carries some responsibility, 100%. If FK doesn't get an NRG tryout, I don't know. Did NRG change it up? FK might want that SSG spot. He could. Gentlemates haven't been the same since Itachi. A slow tear rolls down my eyes thinking about when they won that major. Itachi grabbing Juicy by the face. We did it. We did it. Seiko, Zen, Nobu. Don't tempt me with a good time. I doubt that Zen would want that team. Belair, big fan of your content. First stream. First time catching the stream. I think this is the first time I've ever streamed. So thanks for being here for the inaugural one. This NRG win feels like it resulted in one of the more ambiguous best team in the world landscapes in recent memory. Isn't that so funny? Because I was talking to somebody on Discord the other day, and they were like, is this NRG team the best team that we've ever seen? And I was like, if you stare at the resume long enough, it's probably tough to refute that they're not up there. But it does feel weird for a team that at no point this season I was like, they're the best team in the world. You know what I mean? To win worlds. This obviously helps. But like I'll definitely put out a video of like taking the totality of the season for all of these rosters who had the best season. NRG's up there, but I don't feel like NRG had the best season of any of the teams in the world. Carmine and Falcons, of course, deserve to be up there as well. But maybe I don't feel that way about it in totality, just because of the fact that NRG always finished so high. But it is funny how certainly there was never a point where I was going into a major being like, NRG are the best team here. Do Dig make roster changes? Yes. Reckless speculation, but I think yes. I agree with you, Bretta, about the Bruda. I'm gonna go Bretta. What up, Bretta? My Bretta. I also think that FK might not be super interested in that young SSG duo, but maybe I'm wrong. We've seen crazier things. I know, Sylvia, this is what, were you there? Are you referencing what we talked about earlier? It's crazy. They played every team who plays the semi before, like the second semi before the grand finals has won. It's nuts. Shout out to Gio for that fun fact. He was the first one who told me about it. Yeah, one day, for sure. Like, even OCE got something to celebrate, right? It seems like everybody who won Worlds, we all did. You know what I mean? Everybody had like a moment. And how does this not go in? Not that it really would have mattered. And I remember this. Stizzy like laughs afterwards that this doesn't go in. He's like, "What on earth?" Oh, Tim cut the clip too early. Is it a Aditya? That's exactly what I was hoping people would think. Don't put out any content during Worlds. Just enjoy it as a fan, and then I'll put out content afterwards, like I did before. Man, Stizzy almost Goomba stomped that one for a crazy highlight. Him and Jack, I know why they do it, and they're like the only ones. Well, not the only ones. There's others, but uniquely, they have a lot of like they'll take a lot of low air, those like Zen touches, but they do it so often that I feel like defenses kind of know what's coming. Like anytime the ball rolls to them in space, it's like, okay, they're gonna take a Zen touch. Man, I really was like coming into this game 5, I was like, I can't believe Dignitas are gonna put the demons to rest because GK have had their number all season long. How old is the one and only Belair? David, I am 12 years old. No, I'm 31. They always had the best floor, but we didn't get to see their ceiling till Worlds for sure. Yeah, you're probably right about them having like NRG showing up when it mattered most. This goal was so crazy. I put out a tweet where I was like, who was I most impressed by? And Stizzy and Nas were the two names that immediately leapt off for me. Uh, what a shot. Eggy Nobo is Naupo. NWPO. We all just said Naupo. I don't know why. I don't know like the how it like started. Awful touch there by Joyo. And right here I was like, I can't believe Dignitas are gonna win it. But then he got asked, what was it at Raleigh? Like Leaf was like, hey, how do you actually say your name? And he was like, it's Nobo. Because I think like what Dazarin or somebody had asked him beforehand, and then we were saying Nobu, like the restaurant. But then it's I'm currently functioning under Nobo. No, I would be shocked if Jack and Reddles retired. I think it behooves them, content or not. I think it behooves them to be pros. And they still both totally have the talent. People close to the bubble scene said FK would be interested. Okay, noted. Zen and Atau are going to team up. Yeah, it is interesting. I've been trying to read into those tweets as well, where it's like even Stizzy, and I know that it's like, you know, some of it is just like the way that you speak the language as a non-native speaker, but his tweet was primarily in English, and a lot of it was like you know, really thankful for like the opportunity in a way that seemed, at least at a first read to me, felt past tensey. uh Gosh, just can't believe this. They have the look. Great look. Stizzy can't put it away. I mean, it's tough. He has to go fast. Good challenge. Gosh, Oli, great bump. Just a great play by Oli. Yeah, obviously disappointing for EU, but maybe they won because um, of the friends they made along the way. Because it was in Lyon. I thought the environment was crazy. Probably the best environment we've ever had for a major. I really can't even think what would be close to that at a first read. And then also the fact that we're going to have a major in Paris. Paris. I just watched Ratatouille too, so now I'm super hyped for Major 2. Wasn't interested beforehand, but now that I've seen Ratatouille, really excited for Paris. Yeah, Vatira was on fire in this Furia matchup. Just everything he wanted was going his way. I still yeah, for real, Sawyer. One day, I still haven't watched the 1v1. I just not what I typically a lot of time for. But I did see that Nobo won. No, for sure. The French did not win Worlds. That's for sure. But it feels like a lot of the regions had at least like something. Like Virtus Pro making it through, super exciting. The biggest losers are like Europe and Sam, probably. APAC had something though. SSA kind of just, was what it was. I felt like they were at least competitive. And they were competitive at EWC too, so that's come a long way. SSA as a region probably wins just because of the new rule. We'll see if the 2/3 rule matters for foot. They might get grandfathered. Who knows? NA brought it home. Somebody had posted, because I was posting my power rankings on Twitter the whole time through. What a shot by Atau. I was posting my power rankings the whole time through, and somebody had said something like, how can you pick these as like an NA fan? And I was like, I'm not an NA fan. I'm an RLCS fan. I'm from North America, but I'm an RLCS fan. Do I think Casey are gonna stick? I don't know. If you like if you had to like, choose right now, I probably think that they would stick. I feel like something that is often forgotten is in like the conversation of like, God, Vatira. Something that's often forgotten is like the for who piece of it. Like that team's gonna make a move for who? Like who would be available? Who's better than what they have? Perfect shot from Vatira. CRR, Stizzy, and Atomic next season. Just go full Spanish. Bring out the FIFA E roster. I could see it. CRR said he's open to was he the one who said he's open to any region? Which probably means, NA Europe, Sam. Favorite worlds by far, I agree. Alex, I think they were saying First Killer was interested in the SSG duo, because now that Scribbles retired, if Reveal and Kofor stick, I assume that they would. I'd be pretty shocked if Kofor and Reveal don't stick, but that FK would be interested in that. Yeah, I think Ghazi is one of those, you kind of need a player like a Ghazi, because Nobu is not that player. He's more of like the stoic, like Daniel Seiko type, where it's just like, yes, like that's just the reaction. Even Drali is like a yes kind of player, but you need just because we're looking at it right now, Vatira, Drufinio, what I like about a player like Brad, Reddles as a captain. You need a player who's got a little like calm, like, oh, yeah, and Ghazi's definitely that, like getting super hyped on the biggest stage. Is it a hot take that Reddles needs to retire? You're banned from chat. Mods, somebody ban that guy. I have no mods. You're fine. Don't worry about it. I don't think he should. Bebo, I've always thought that Appjack was like consummate leader, like exactly who you want, a foxhole kind of guy. I don't know. I think he's great, like pre-match, like, okay, guys, this is what we want to do. Like he's a professional. If you're on a Jack team, you know that he's going to be like constantly grinding and working on his craft and trying to improve the team. But I do sometimes feel like Jack can get a little, quiet and shell up and face cams when they face adversity. And of course, it's It's all about balance, right? This isn't a full pendulum swing for me on Jack. I think I had him top 10 in the world in my last big board, but changed my opinion on him a little bit with that. Having to wake up early. It's more of a me thing. PST would have been rough. I'm at least Eastern. PST would have been rough. This is like the Australians who watch NBA. It's like, God, really? All right. Edit Tim, first video in the books. I think this is day 4. It is. Let's mute this one too. Actually, is it okay if I do oh my God, sorry guys. Is it okay if I do like just a little volume to like stay with it while I'm reading chat? Is that okay?
Fans I've ever had the privilege of speaking in front of.
And our 8 remaining teams representing 4 regions.
If this is bad, let me know in the comments and I'll just mute it again.
And now it's time to turn up the heat. We've got playoffs. We've got a 1v1
Stacks.
final.
I liked all the Mafia fits from Stacks this Worlds. Scribbles retired. That changed. Oh, what, Scribbles? You got something better to do? Medical school? Long time listener, first time chatter. Thanks, Camp Dan. Thank you, stranger. Nice to meet you. Thanks for following the content. I think it's possible for KC to change the team. Anything is possible in Europe. If I were the general manager, I probably wouldn't change it. We've kind of seen that there's some power in sticking, but hey, you know, they're all young players and careers are short and friendships and all that jazz, so who knows. It's got to be tough, you know. Anybody who works in like a professional environment knows that sometimes the things that can really get to you about your colleagues is like, you know, stuff that's off of the pitch. Like, you know, maybe Vatira just doesn't think that Atal's very funny and wants to make a move. Maybe he's tired of Drawley's dad jokes, you know, who knows. Fourth killer is funny, and Vatira, like, not being able to do it at Worlds is also, like, funny. I didn't feel like Carmine like folded. It was like, oh, look at Vatira once again, not getting over the hump. I felt like they were awesome. Falcons, that series was just sick. Player intros were cool, and I really liked that for the finals at least they did individual introductions.
Just couldn't get a hand up. SSG take game 1.
What a shot. Reveal loves those roll shots, especially when he lands where it hits the hood of his car. Is like he's great at those. In the box, getting up to those. He takes a lot of those.
That we saw the first one. That one's off the backboard. We have got a whole heap of orange cards. And now we've got ourselves an orange goal.
How I currently rank each region. North America 1, Europe 3rd. There's no 2 because NA is that far ahead. No, Europe. I think it's because I immediately think not only top end talent but also like depth, right? So I'd go Europe, North America, Mina, Sam, OCE, Apex, SSL. Oli has more clutch saves than anyone this season. Even Falcons. Yeah, Oli was unbelievable in this tournament.
Get back into this one. Center down to Kofor denied. Reveal is going to try and finish it from the ceiling.
They had, what was it? SSG had like 5. Oh, oops. That's
again.
There's a chance.
There's no way. There's no way.
Look at the scuff production.
Second goals in the last.
They're giving some time to get back into this one. Center down to go for denied. Reveal's going to try and finish it from the ceiling and in.
Did this go off of Joyo?
Space Station have kept their hopes alive.
They can't do this again.
Game volume too loud.
There's no way. There's no.
Crazy to think if SSG won. Jolly really upset me. Yeah, I agree. Not a great by his typical quality and standards. If SSG won this, they'd be top 4. I know, isn't that so funny? That it's good that we were here, you know, because as the passage of time occurs, there'll need to be this kind of like, you know, man, yeah, SSG made a top 4. Not the most competitive run in the entire world. Certainly not Mickey status, but yeah, I mean, good for SSG. I think it definitely won't slow down their egos, but is good experience. Cross-region roster moves would be sick. I think it always we'll always almost certainly always see because we see this in the NBA too, where it's like, you know, Dwight Howard or who else has gone over? So many players. Shane Larkin, Eric Bledsoe, all these guys who, like, once you get to a point in your career where it's like not where it was in the NBA, you go to China or Eurobasket or something like that. So I think like the Sosas and Catalysms of the world, Tho, all those guys, that'll continue to happen. I do wonder, it's very interesting to think about top talent and how that's going to move as we move forward. Could Wildcard replicate their run next season? I don't think so. I think it was an awesome story. But I think they caught lightning in a bottle with that one. But the confidence is huge, right? I think a lot of RLCS at this level is about confidence, and the fact that they made it top 6 and they were competitive even when they were getting eliminated in best of 7s is huge. Hopefully something clicked for Fever finally, because he's been good for a long time, but he was so good. Wow, what a shot. What a save. Who won the draft game? I don't know. I don't know if Martian's put it out yet. If he has, I haven't seen it just yet. I went dark on Discord because I was behind for a lot of the event, so I didn't want spoilers. Yeah, it's funny how it goes, right? With Monkey. I don't know. I think if anybody could eclipse the, like, he stays on top with a top team, it could be him, just because of the resume and kind of what he means. But yeah, you know, the times change fast, you know. Reveal, great pass. Go for a nice shot. Is GK planning to stick? I have no idea. I wouldn't be shocked if they made a move, just because it seems like Oli always moves. And there we have it. Scribbles' retirement. His final touch. Sosa getting a spot on an NA roster. I could see it too. He definitely has the talent. He had the talent when he was still in NA. What was his last stop? He was on Koi. Why? I don't want to get this wrong, but wasn't he on he was on like the roster with Reveal and Scribbles before they picked up Frosty? I think that's true. Or he was on one of those like, oh man, this team could be pretty good, I think, and then he went to APAC. But he was good on Koi. It's always a sneaky Sosa fan. No, I was not behind on the finals. I actually watched that whole thing from the couch. My partner and I watched a little bit of it. You know what it was? she wasn't like super interested. And then I swapped to the crowd cam. We got into it. Crowd cam's great. Love crowd cam. This was a big prove it series for me for Carmine Core. And after this one, I thought they were going to win the whole thing. NRG Falcons KC. Yeah, I agree. Does it count as SSG? Excuse me. Do SSG count as sticking if they have already had a man down? Yeah, Scribbles, you know, kind of go out on top, youngest ever, and then retire. It's kind of like David Robinson, the Admiral. He said in the 2003 season that he was going to retire, and then him and Tim Duncan win a title. And then he's like, all right, I'm out of here. It's pretty pimping. Yeah, crowd cam is sick. Crowd cam really works. I like watching crowd cam. Would have passed by Atal. Garbage time, but that's like the between the legs alley oop right there. Crowd cam's really nice. I mean, the crowd helped in a big way too. And then I think the commentators were elite all the way through. I was surprised that it was Stax and Dazarin. Partially because Stax did like the pre-announcement, which is like real tough for him. To be like, here we go, world champion. And then he's got to like jog over to do like, all right, it's me and Daz in the box. But deserved. I was kind of thinking about like the lineup heading in. I was like thinking like, okay, well, it can't be the people who are doing the semis. So I was like, is it gonna be Herc? I thought Herc might be doing the finals. Talk and Mech are great choices. I don't know. I think if I'm that team, um, and I could be wrong, like, because it's me, and I think a lot of this is like age and like who you kind of want as like a team environment. So maybe they want to go young third and kind of keep it now that they have the experience. But my immediate thought is like if you can grab somebody who's kind of been around the block a little bit more and can give you some of that professional edge. I think that would be really, really nice. Like if there's rumors that FK is interested, that's very compelling to me. Yeah, I did notice that Archie was gone pretty quick. I don't know, maybe he was kind of, you know, been out of shape, but also it could be one of those things where it's just like a total like what we see on the cams. If you were there, maybe it played out differently. Because I know they were trying to do like some production stuff with like, you know, who goes where and whatnot. Oh my God. Yeah, Herc's voice. Shout out to Herc for continuing to go through that. I remember at Raleigh, what happened? Herc, what a pass by Radosin there. Um, Herc had Herc like rolled her ankle or something at Raleigh, and now voice was shot. Yeah, FK and Kofor did do that twos tournament. Those are always interesting little breadcrumbs to check, like the unofficial, like who's teaming with who, and like the twos and whatnot. Not that they're always like this is what is going to occur, but interesting that FK and Kofor were hooping together for that one. That's how you want that one back. It won't end up mattering, of course. This one just floating in the box. Look at Radosin just going classic, just matte red Finnick. No frills. Not a lot of decals at this Worlds. If I had to complain about anything, um, really not a lot of inspired presets for sure. Outside of Kofor and Lost had one. There was one that we saw from NAS earlier, but I've seen that one before. I think there are only two unique decals if we're not counting. Oh, here's that NAS decal. If we're not counting the wildcard Bacchus mod fiasco. But where's the creativity, you know? Yeah, Tyler, I agree. Cool if teams stand facing each other. What do you think about like to determine like the color, like blue or orange? It's like a arm wrestling match. Who'd be the best like arm wrestler to have on your team? If you were like, oh man, I don't know, but like they're gonna win the arm wrestle every time. I feel like Radosin's probably pretty strong. He strikes me as a strong guy. Yeah, Chronic's just inconsistent, you know? Um, I was gonna make a video during like after like day 3, and I was like, you know what? Just savor this. Enjoy this as a fan, you know? But one of the things I was gonna make was in that NRG series. It's just tough with Chronic because it's like, you know, one series it's like 2 goals and a couple big saves, and it's like, man, look at Chronic go, and then the next one will have like 89 points or something. That's a little bit extreme from reality, but you know, it's just like the consistency is the hardest thing to come by in the RLCS. Vatira all day, layup, beast mode arm wrestle would be pretty tough. Sathy for sure. Oh yeah, that Tim, that decal was super cool. That like coral pink kind of like wavy. I like that one a lot. Yeah, it's like a jump ball, you know? Like a like an arm wrestle. I could be into it. These are the changes that I would bring if you elect me as class president. Coach's arm wrestling would be dope. It would be Snasky looks strong. Eversax looks strong. Sathu sneaky strong. Roll does a good job right away. Yeah, this one we knew would be close. I was looking pre-match at like the matchup. These two teams are split so evenly. I think they might have been like about 50-50 on the season series. And Ultimates in like the second split had actually won more. Yeah, Gemma. I like Gemma's whole aesthetic. Like the shirt tucked into the pants, no belt. I couldn't pull it off, but beast mode perfect little doink. I you know, in this series I really I think that it's one that LJ would have wanted back. Yeah, this is a huge confidence changer both directions for these teams, I think. I think NRG felt pretty confident like no matter what. Um just because of the way that like scrims went and they had a good boot camp and stuff like that. Um and they didn't like the win over NIP was huge, I think, for confidence as well because that was a dangerous team. But yeah, this seemed to be kind of a rough one for Ultimates. And like I looked at the fact that Ultimates beat KC in the best of 5 is actually a negative for Ultimates. um, just because it's like, okay, now we got to do it again. We've shown that we can do it. Great flick. Wow. Seiko and Rado, I wonder if they want a team again together. Wow. Wow. Who gets faked on this? LJ dusted. Yeah, I mean, Chronic just respawned. It looked like he kind of had to go. NRG were so good at these pre-jump passing plays in the box. Did you notice that throughout the tournament? They got a ton of them where it was like getting up nice and early before the ball's even in the air. Something that they must have been working on a lot. They might not have looked confident against NRG, Ultimates that is, but they were competitive. I mean, they beat them 4-1, I think, in the last time they played. Or maybe that was like Open Qual 6 or something. But They've played them close, and I mean, even Beast Mode has talked about them being like a real challenge for them. Like they do not take them lightly. They know that they're a team that contends against them. I don't know. Am I like I really like FK, and I've put some thought into like is he actually the best player in North America, like over any of the NRG guys, which I don't think I feel that way. Um but I don't know, even the idea of them being like, all right, let's get rid of Atomic for FK. I like this roster more. It's almost a great dunk by Dan. Falcon's going to be even more dangerous next year. Experience. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this was an excellent season for Falcons. What's it called? Really like opened the door for them. FIFA E last year is like a get the monkey off the back, like we can do it. That team's really, really good. First grand finals, you know, but excuse me, first World's grand finals. But yeah, that's a very, very dangerous team. Yeah, you know, the thing, Alex, that I really liked about them, about Ultimates that is, in the group stages, was that they got really proficient at there were a lot of plays where if they like caught like a ball in the box defensively, they would always already have somebody on the backboard and they would do like a volleyball pop to the defender to like break out. You know what I mean? Where it was like it was all connective tissue. And I feel like they got a little bit like set in their ways in a negative once they got into these best of sevens. LJ especially, because he was such a great passer in that group stage, like really facilitating to his teammates. But then once we got into these best of sevens, it just kind of seemed like those passes that beforehand were like, look at him setting the table, just led to like turnovers and just like sloppy offense. Great shot by Daniel. He had so many of these this tournament where it was just like, I don't need anybody. I will make this happen. W streamer, hey, what's up, 50? Good to see you. I saw you were putting out content the entire worlds. I hope that it ended up going well. And then we'll be connecting on. I was already starting to craft some ideas for like post worlds videos. So I'm excited to have you on the channel. If you end up wanting to do that with me, not forcing your hand publicly. Who's Nobu going to team with next year? Nobo. I'm trying to fix my. It's kind of how it took me a second to get around on like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Trying to fix myself each time. It's like when you meet somebody new, you just got to say their name 3 times and remember it. But I have some calloused thoughts on. I've called him Naupo for so long, it's tough to change it. I don't know. There's now the 2/3 rule, so it'll have to be somebody from Mina. If I had to like just on the fly think about it, I think somebody had told me in chat earlier that Rise and Atomic are both like free agents. If just working on what information I know now, I would assume that he would like keep Rise and then maybe add like a Ghazi or maybe somebody from like Team Vision or one of the young Alcazia guys or something like that. But maybe they just go full Mina now. Falcons debuff is real. Yeah, that was the challenge with them last season, right? Where they were kind of this Jekyll and Hyde. Like sometimes they would just, you know, absolutely melt teams and then they kind of would really slow down and play their level a little bit lower to others. I didn't really feel like Falcons lost the grand finals. I felt like NRG won the grand finals, if you catch my drift. Like NRG were on fire. Great pass. Nobish, go with some of the rock guys. I agree. Gun to your head. You have to form a roster 3 players from any region to win worlds. Who am I taking? What a great question. This cut from Daniel was so nice. I know it sounds so stupid, but I don't know. Like if you want my honest, like how Belair's brain synapses attach. When you asked that question, the first name I thought of was Vatira. It's like an industrial vacuum out there. Hopefully you guys can't hear that. I don't know what they're doing. Vatira. I'd probably take Beast Mode, Atomic, and Daniel if I had to pick 3 guys to win the World Championship. That's a great question. I want to give more thought to that. There's a lot of players that I think of. Drally, of course. But then this whole thought pattern immediately feels stupid because there's 2 of 3 players who just didn't win a World Championship. Atomic was a big reason they won Worlds. I thought he was going to win MVP. Honestly, FK is top 3 in the world. I'm not quite there, but I have flirted with that idea. How do we feel about SSG? Sad that Scribbles retired. I think the 2 of them are going to stick. And Chad is speculating that they would try and add FK. If not that, I would definitely think that they would be a very, very compelling stop for a lot of players. I think Fury would pick up Diaz or Swift. That is kind of the Furia business plan. I already said if I'm Swift, I'm sticking. My team's probably better than Furia, and I would just want to beat them with the team that I have. Go Damian Lillard, you know. Feels like a major thing that made NRG and Falcons stand out to me was that no player was obviously the best all tournament. 100%. And that's what makes like the big board exercise so difficult because like especially the first one I did, I stared for I spent way more time on that than I'm proud to admit. But I feel like it's like a something that I could like a piece of content that I could do moving forward and like really have it kind of be something cool for like what I put out. So I spent a lot of time on it and I spent so much time thinking about NRG. Like I ended up in the first one having Daniel as the best player on NRG, but like all 3 of them I was thinking about like is Atomic the best player on NRG? Is Beast Mode the best player on NRG? It's so tough with them and the same with Falcons. And I've changed my opinion on them. I had Rawas clear, TRK obviously second, and Kalir's third. But I'm definitely going to have to spend a lot of time with that one. Is that the end of this one? No, we got one more series. Wildcard Falcons. I was shocked. I had tweeted somebody was like, you know, Wildcard could beat Falcons, and I had said you and I have a better chance of beating Falcons than Wildcard has. And that ended up being the case. Like, you know, Falcons beat them up pretty bad, but I was very surprised at how many good opportunities, consistent opportunities Wildcard created against Falcons. Yeah, definitely no like perfect highlight like the Zen shot, you know what I mean? Um but I don't know. I think there was a lot of great goals at this tournament. Do I think Zen and Radosin might run it back? Yes. Do I know that's happening? Would I bet on it happening? No, just because I don't know anything about Europe. But if that happened, I would be like, who'd thought? Not me. You know, Froggy, I like if I was because I was already doing. I'm gonna put out like an NBA style like award season. You know, like first, second, third team, most improved, MVP, offensive deal, all that rookie. Mata's definitely gonna be on my most improved list for sure. And Banana Head, gosh, can you imagine? I totally get what he's doing. Probably could have shot that one a little quicker, but I get totally what he was going for. Could have been we were just talking about there's no like goal of the tournament. That one would have been a standout for sure. Um but oh, like I was saying, like most improved, my list is probably going to be Killiers, who just scored as I'm talking. Mata will be on that list for me for most improved, and I don't know who else. What a shot by Killiers. I've never liked that goal explosion, but I like when Banana Head has it. God, that car is disgusting. See, like, look at the what a pass. Oh my goodness. There's some classics, you know, like oh, Stizzy's on my list for sure. Thank you, Peter. That's somebody I was forgetting. But there's so many, like, some of these, you know, are just like the what's a good, this is that play I was talking about. I was talking to somebody about this on Twitter. Fever, I like jumped out of my seat and started like just howling when Fever did this. He didn't score. Touch to ground. Oh my gosh. I would have just like broken down crying. I wouldn't have known what to do with myself if he scored that. Great shot by Fever there. Wavy or Kofer. Yeah, Wavy's not quite there for me. Definitely like a great result getting like the Shopify to where they wanted to be. I still think he's missing that like God, what a pass. Wavy is missing that like takeover ability, and for an esport where it's like there's only 3 players, sometimes I think you need that. So I was talking to, who was I talking to about Dig? It might have been Martian. But like who might Dig try, it could have been Geo too. Who might they try and add? When I think Dig, I immediately think, because I would assume that Jack and Jorius might stick and then that Stizzy might go. But I would assume they'd want kind of like a system player who wants to play like the Dignitas kind of way. That's probably somebody who's a little more established, but I could be wrong. I immediately thought about a player like Oli if he ends up moving. CRR is looking for a new spot. I think that one makes a little less sense, but something like that. But you know, maybe they go young and somebody who just wants to like get in and like play the right way or whatever. Spaceman, and it's a yes and that. I think the current meta is I'd say some things that stand out to me with like how the best teams are trying to play is it's having the ability to apply pressure, and furthermore having the ability to how do I want to articulate, I think it's really important to have players who all are confident on the ball. Like, don't just have to like boom clear every time they get it. Um, have multiple things within their bag that they can do. Like, not to pick on him, but he's just fresh on my mind. Like, LJ is somebody who, if you were to like see an LJ approach and I were to pause it and it was like, what do you think LJ is going to do with this ball? I can guess pretty like with pretty good certainty like what I think he's going to do. He's very good at the things that he does do, but like Colliers could take it for a ground dribble, could take it to the ceiling, could just outright shoot it, can go for a reset, can go for a pancake dunk on the backboard, could go for a fake to one of his teammates. Like, his ability to like, he can do so many different things, and the best teams have 3 players who can all do that. Definitely Carmine, definitely Falcons, definitely NRG. Even a team like Dignitas I think is pretty good at that. I don't feel that way about Vitality. I think that Exotic isn't like super dangerous as like an aerial on the ball threat. Monkey Moon doesn't always have that either. Yeah. GK does kind of have it. I think Archie's a little bit better than he gets credit for. We know Joyo and Oli can do it. Yeah, head change. They're using Bacchus mod, so this is just for the opponent to see. So they're just rocking like a default, Dominus and Fennec, and they're just Bacchus modding this to like annoy people. They had like the grass boost going, like the lawnmower or whatever. All right, Championship Sunday. Let me mute this so I don't blast you guys. Did you guys catch the Eurobasket final? Dennis Schroeder does it again. Although that Turkey team, Turkey, is really good. They got Şengün, Cedi Osman's on that roster, Isaac Bonga. Good team. Wait, no, Isaac Bonga's German. Who else was on that Turkey team? Shane Larkin, Turkey MVP. I think he went to the University of Miami too. Larkin. Atomic Beast Mode Dan, all in your top 3 NA all time. I don't know. It's tough for me to think about that just because of the names that you mentioned. Like Justin, it's kind of a funny one where it almost would have behooved him in like the all-time argument if he just like retired like 3 seasons ago, because we'd be like, I remember Justin. But I think Justin's got to be considered, and Garrett, I'd have to give that one a lot of thought. I don't know. It's tough to compare. Like time periods like that for me. It's like the LeBron MJ argument of like, is NRG better than Gale Force? Just because like the competition was just so much different, and the amount of bites we got at the apple to see how good the teams were was a lot different as well. Yeah, Dig is an interesting team to watch because they totally outperformed expectations, and Jack teams have now done that multiple times in multiple regions. Vitura, what a fake. With CRR to EU, maybe he's going to Dig. Yeah, I was thinking about it, because him and Stizzy, I actually, feel dumb that I hadn't thought about that, but that makes a lot of sense. An annoying engine noise can give an advantage. Yeah, it could be an advantage for either side, right? You can get into your opponent's head, or they just totally know that you're coming and they're like, yes, that's Banana Head behind me. I too am a biased CRR fan. What stock has fallen the furthest? I mean, it feels like you said Monkey Moon. Maybe I'm biased because you just said his name, but that feels probable. For me, Yan as well. Can you not remove topper? I don't use, I of course use Bacchus mod to watch replays, but I stand behind the presets that I create. So I don't Bacchus mod my presets very often, outside of like the Alpine Esports one, which is sick. And out of the like current one, it's not current anymore, but like, gosh, that pinstripe Carmine core, I can't believe I didn't buy that. That thing's so nice. I know, Schroeder's hilarious. And he just got paid, which is so crazy because I don't think that he's worth that contract. But yeah, there's just something about once you get these guys into like their, the Wagners have been really awesome. Daniel Tice is always good once it gets to like, there's some of these guys who just really show up to hoop once it gets to like, who's the other, who am I thinking of? Bogdan Bogdanovic is so nice for France, him and Fournier, Nick Batum, although I don't think any of them played in this Eurobasket. Their like star was like Gershon Yabusele. Man, great pinch. Yeah, by now it kind of just feels like it's gotten away from Ultimates, right? The fake, but it's into like a very difficult shooting spot. But hey, what do I know? They end up scoring off of it. Not a great pop. Whose point of view is this? This is Atau. And then I don't know why he's positioned that high up. Seemed pretty obvious the shot was coming. Gah. Vatiro's having those all event. Uh-oh. Gosh, Drowley. Uh. Yeah, that's a great question about the lands. I think like the early production one, I don't know how they're doing that. Is it like maybe it's like a showcase, you know how they do like college basketball where it's like the Hawaii Classic, they just like get a bunch of teams together. Maybe it's just like 12 really good teams, like it's invite only like preseason. Um kind of like the one that they did in Europe. What was that one? Flip and Spin? Maybe it's like that, but it's like in a studio and then there's two lands, right? Paris and then somewhere in North America. Just please don't be California. My wallet can't take it. God. Yeah, this one felt GK's obviously the better team. This one felt like it's just one of those, right? Meaning like once you get this deep into a tournament, laser. Once you get this deep into a tournament, like pressure becomes huge and expectation. Like wild card, obviously, it's just like show up and play. And head up. Probably didn't want that second touch. It actually worked out really well. Jeez. Brother, I have a podcast. I don't upload to it as frequently as I want to. What a play by Torsauce there. The Need Boost podcast is I was gonna say alive and well, but that's not really the case, is it? Fever with another great pass. I like the long form stuff. It's just it's all a matter of like especially if I've aged, it's one of those things where it's like duh, everybody knows that, but I've started to think about it more and more where, everybody has the same 24 hours in the day. It's all a matter of where you want to allot your time and between work and really valuing, being a good partner, like, you know, time spent together, coffee, dinners, all that kind of stuff. Um, and then wanting to make YouTube content. Because for a while I was like, here we go. I made this whole business plan. I was like, I'm going to do shorts and I'm going to schedule them and do them this often, and I'm going to do these breakdowns on Twitter. Yeah, I'm going to start streaming on Twitch. I'm going to have the podcast and I'm going to put out 3 YouTube videos a week. And it's just like, if you want to do them and do them well, um, you just got to kind of choose things. I don't even know if I said work either, or like just like, you know, home upkeep, you know, like making dinners and stuff like that. It's just you got to cut something. And I don't know. I've focused almost exclusively on YouTube and Twitter lately. But I got to tell you, Twitter is you remember the bad ones, but there's some people on Twitter where I really question how often I tweet based on some of the replies that I get. Beyond the Summit's cool. I really like all of those events where it's like you get to see more of like the individuals, you know what I mean? You get more FaceTime with them. Yeah, my life doesn't revolve around Rocket League. I think in a lot of ways it really does. I was talking about this the other day because I was feeling conflicted. We like went on a walk after the Saturday matchups, and I like sat down and I wrote out this whole script of like the stuff I wanted to talk about. And I was like watching replays to like get ready for it. And like I started to get like real anxious about it, you know what I mean? And I was like, why am I anxious about? And I was like, I felt like the need to put out a video because it's like, this is our Super Bowl, you know what I mean? This is when all the eyes are on it. And like, I feel like I was missing an opportunity for channel growth by not putting out a video, but at the same time, I wasn't feeling super motivated to put something out. I wasn't certain I was going to put out something that I felt like happy with, like satisfied with. And you know, ultimately I felt like it would probably be better to not put something out um if it would benefit me not feeling burnt out with the content, because um avoiding burnout is like paramount. It's like the number one thing with this channel, because I've already been putting out videos I think for like 4 years, and certainly if I would have approached it differently, the channel could probably be bigger for sure, because I think I have like close to 3,000 subscribers or something like that. Maybe it's less, I don't remember. um, but I feel like getting burnt out is the scariest thing in the world, because I want to watch the RLCS and make content about it for the rest of my life. So if me not putting out a video that might do well, or honestly might even underperform, that I'm not super happy with on some random Saturday, if that is going to like be something that ultimately leads me to like a mental deficit with making it, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, you know? But yeah, I still do think in a lot of ways my life revolves around uh, thinking about watching the RLCS. As with everything, I spend more time watching and thinking about than actually putting out content. And NIG are the world champions. The first person I ever heard say that was 5 Up when he came on my podcast. NIG. Great touch by Archie. Double? What a pass. God. I wonder if this is intentional. It's just on a platter. What if he was trying to score that? Doesn't matter. What a pass. Oh, what a fake, Joyo. Does he score that? Oh my gosh. I don't even remember that. That's disgusting. Ugh. Yeah, Wildcard had a lot of those, like, so close, you know? Laser. Yeah, big, huge event, obviously. Like, thank you for stating the obvious. Huge event for Wildcard. Um, could alter the future of OCE in a huge way, because you kind of got to a point where um, it seemed like Banana Head was talking about, kind of a lack of motivation. Torsas obviously has been around forever. Um, Fever as well, and it was like, gosh, are they gonna like dissolve, and is this region just in a terrible spot? But this event and the fact that they were still able to hang with a lot of these great teams, I think it's huge for them. Uniquely lacking in commentary around team composition, playstyles, etc. I agree. Most of the podcast commentary are around individual performances. I agree and would like to change it, but I often feel some imposter syndrome about who am I? Who am I? Just a man. What do I know? I'm not a coach, not a player. That's what Daniel tweeted. Yeah, Daniel, the content grinder, Daniel. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. I thought, my game plan was to upload every day, but then it was like I got of course I'm like working on, I knew like I wasn't going to be, I was thinking like, oh, I'll upload at the end of the day um for like for the play-ins, for example. But we just had a couple of people who moved on at work, so we're short. and I'm the newest guy. So when they're kind of like, hey, somebody's got to work a little extra, it's just me by default. So on those days, I was like, that's fine. Um, I'll do it for like the big boy days, for the crowd days. And then by that point, it was just like one of the days I worked an 8 to 8, so it wasn't going to be that one. And I was like, that's fine, I'll just do the next one. And then I hadn't put out a video, so I was like, I gotta put out a video, you know what I mean? And ultimately I just didn't. What a shot, Drawley. He's so fast. I hope Tim shows this replay. Look at how quick he gets up to this. And then just instantly, like, there's nothing you can do about that. Love to hear me cast a series. There's a couple unlisted ones on my YouTube channel when I first started making Rocket League content, where when you like don't know like what the options are. It's just like you're either a player, a coach, or a caster. I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna be a caster then. And I actually did a small tournament with Barmanitan way back in the day, where we did a whole event together. But then I haven't casted since then. Was I surprised the French crowd was behind NRG? No, I thought it was. I was surprised, not that they were behind NRG. I was surprised at how aggressively they were booing Falcons. That was shocking to me. I actually the two because I was doing shift cast last season with Will and Mike, and they did some scrims world casts, and they invited me on, and I was like, I am way too old to be staying up for casting an OCE. Like, my partner would be so upset with me if I was like, hey babe, I'm gonna she'd be like, you're absolutely not casting OCE and keeping me up, which is fine. It's late. I'm old. Number one rule is never say when you're going to upload. I've definitely fallen into that trap to try and keep myself accountable, but I agree. I try to not do that. Sloggerman, I appreciate it. Yeah, the need boost, you should go. There's still some it sounds lame. It reminds me of this old Childish Gambino. He did like stand up, Donald Glover, and he has like this girl who gets into his car and he's listening to his own music, and she's like, you listen to your own music? And he's like, yeah, I listen to some of my like really old podcast episodes sometimes if I'm just like like watering my plants or whatever. I'll put on like an old one from like seasons ago. They're fun. There's some good ones. There's some good bits floating around out there on the Need Boost pod. But I haven't put out an episode, I think, since 5 up. Being around the RL crowd got you thinking you're old. No, it's good to have Gibbs and Graybeard kind of floating around. I don't know. I don't think it's that. Oh, I've been playing games. I feel like it's a generational thing now where like I don't feel old for watching the game. I've worked in sports my whole life. I worked in esports for a bit, so me at the desk at Worlds would feed families. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably do better than Fairy Peak, who seemed a little nervous, surprisingly. Maybe it's just a mannerisms thing, but I don't know. I felt really confident going into Raleigh when I was doing interviews for Shift. I was like, this is in the bag. This is going to be so easy. Then I was there with Mata. And I was like, you played good, huh? He's like, yeah, is that your question? It's like, dang, this is harder than I thought it would be. I am sure it's the same thing for sitting at the desk. I'd probably look like a deer in the headlights a little bit. Although I don't I think I do probably decently well. KC won Worlds 8 times out of 10. Yeah, maybe 7, and we'll give a couple to Falcons, but oh, for sure, Cactus. But that's the what are you looking to find in life? Who's there's this old school RuneScape content creator. Mr. No Sleep that I watch all the time, and he did like a Q&A years back. Great content, by the way, if you care about that game. Um, and he did like a Q&A video, and somebody asked him like, what are you looking for? And his answer, I'm paraphrasing, but was like, you know, personal fulfillment. And I feel very fulfilled by the RLCS content that I make and watching. Like, this is my favorite thing in the world. I can hear my partner, she's out there, she's in a work meeting, so I'm allowed to say that. No, I love the RLCS. So trying to find like, I feel like I've beaten the imposter syndrome, especially from when I first started. Like, there were so many videos in the first couple of years that I would fully create and then just like would just, you know, sink into the box. I wouldn't put out because I wasn't like confident in the opinion. Um, but you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. If you actually have like reasoning behind it, like why you feel that way, who is to tell you no? Like, I think it's easier now to not have the imposter syndrome because I know I put in the work. Like at the beginning, it's like, you know, if you're not like watching all the games, I know, I feel like I know at least a little bit what I'm talking about, so it's a little bit easier to beat the imposter syndrome, but that only comes with time and reps. Me interviewed for Getting Worlds, Bel Air, they said it wasn't possible. They said there was no chance that a high diamond low champ could win Worlds, but here you are. How'd you do it? People will rip you for it. All press is good press. Yeah, I try and not live my life by that philosophy. I like to stay out of any bad press. The philosophy I have now, and of course I can't follow it 100% of the times because every once in a while there's somebody where I'm just like you. But I remember, I can't remember who it was. It might have been like Tim Ferriss or somebody. But there's this like, how do you approach criticism? And the questions that I try and ask myself first with the criticism is it fair? Like, you know, if I got on and I was like, I think Sphinx is like a top 15 player in the world, like, and somebody's like, are you serious? Is the criticism fair? In that case, yes. Do I value the perspective of the person giving it to me? If it's somebody who I've never interacted with on social media with like, you know, a Monkey D. Luffy profile picture, no, that's bad because it seems like I'm calling out ads for which I'm not. And it's like a Naruto profile pic and somebody's like, you're an idiot. Like, I don't really value that opinion very much. Um, and also if somebody's like actually trying to have discourse, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody actually is like, I'm surprised at your perspective because I feel this way, like, I'll engage with that every time. But if somebody's like, you know, you're a moron who doesn't know what you're talking about, that's a very quick way to get me to not reply. Do I think Rocket League is trending upwards? Yes, this esport will never die. I don't care what any of there's going to be negative stuff always. There's stuff that needs to be worked on and improved. The way in which the esport is managed is far from perfect, but I am a firm believer in the uniqueness of this esport. I think I'm going to be making RLCS content for years to come. Yeah, me and Martian. LCQs. The two of us, and who could we add? I don't know. We'll find somebody. Maybe 50-50 if he's still here. Maybe Myth can be the glue. I know Geo is actually pretty good at Rocket League. I am not, so maybe we could get him in. I don't know how good most people are at Rocket League who like make content. Is Martian any good? I don't know if I've ever asked him what his rank is. I go through spurts where I'll play a lot and then I won't, you know what I mean? I wish I would have been able to figure out the audio. I'll have to do it for the next time I do this, if I do this again. Because it stinks to have it on mute. But I couldn't figure out my audio levels, and I don't want to have you guys just sitting here watching me struggle to figure out how OBS works. Yeah, man, I hope you, if you're excited in making content, I hope you do it. I am a firm believer in if you're going to consume something, because I remember before I was making YouTube content, actually the first, I made like some highlight videos, much like Edit Tim, but I was doing NBA content actually, and it just makes you feel better because I used to like really like struggle with like how much NBA I would watch, where it's just like, what is this for? But once I started making like content about it, it made me feel a lot more. I enjoyed the experience of consuming the NBA more, and it's definitely the same with Rocket League. Like if I just watched all the Rocket League events, I could certainly see myself personally being like, what am I doing this for? Um, like it could feel like an inefficient use of time, but making content definitely makes that feel easier. Yeah, yeah, I can't flip. That would have been sick. Um, I the fact that Casey got eliminated when they did, and even Vitality really stunk. How dare you discredit the opinion of someone rocking Luffy as their profile picture? I just have the chat pulled up on my phone. I can't see. That doesn't look like Luffy. That looks like, I don't watch a lot of anime. It almost looks a little bit like Gaara, but I don't think it is from Naruto. Yeah, yeah, anime profile pictures, um, definitely something to have you know that it's a valuable opinion. Blacked out profile picture, especially animes that I've never even seen what they are. Those are the ones where I really know that I'm about to get into a high level discussion. Some people definitely are. I'm not saying if you have an anime profile picture, your opinion is invalid, but the Venn diagram of anime profile picture to having a not nuanced opinion, it's a pretty heavy crossover. The highest level mechanic I can hit with decent consistency. Um, I would describe myself as a no mech, um, great great locker room guy. You know what I mean? There to make sure that everybody's having a good time, trying to facilitate as much as I can. Um, Strong challenge game, I would say. A little over ambitious with my third man rotations from time to time. Definitely let in some goals. Um, I'm almost always the LVP on the team, but we win a lot. You know what I mean? Not high score, not good on the ball. Definitely just booming it away, trying to make chaos happen. Um, but I would say my ability to hard clear from the defensive end and my ability to find teammates in transition. Those are probably my best mechanics. What's my rank? I want to say low champ, but that's probably disingenuous. Probably most frequently Diamond 3. And I only play 3v3. I'm an RLCS purist. Yeah, Vitality's tough. I pumped them up all season long and they couldn't do it. Somehow, you know, at some point it's a Vitality problem to always run into like, man, Vitality just ran into ninjas who looked so good. Man, they ran into a Team Secret who were just like really flowing. At some point it's a Vitality problem that you can't shut off other teams' water. But you know, I'm a Bulls fan by heart, but an NBA fan by practice. I hate being a Bulls fan. It's the worst. There's no teams. I'm in like I'm from like the Tampa area, and there's no teams around here. And I wasn't gonna be a Magic fan. It's too far away. Not gonna be a Heat fan. And my dad collected a lot of Jordan merch, uh, so I was like, all right, I'll be a Bulls fan. And right when I was like getting into like high school, that's when like Derrick Rose like won his MVP. So I was like, yep, Bulls fan. Joakim Noah, Luol Deng, Boozer, Eric Gordon. How often do I actually play RL? That fluctuates. I like will have periods where I don't play for like 2 weeks, and then I'll have 4 days where I get home from work and it's just like hard grind every day. Just begging that your profile picture doesn't come up. You're like, please. Only threes is wild. It's not about improving. It's just about the competition. You know what I mean? Oh man, Rose and Jimmy, so good. Then there was like those weird seasons where it was like like Rondo and D Wade. It's like, what are we doing? NRG cruising through grand finals, baby. All right, I'm gonna try and lock in a little bit. I was so giddy during this, it was all kind of a blur. You know what I mean? Spurs are sick. Wemby sick. IQ East. What's his name? Kiddish, my buddy, who used to be he was doing stuff for Rule 1 back in the day. Huge Spurs fan. Rawas, great fake. I thought Beast Mode, my recollection coming into this grand finals, my recollection, Atomic on fire, thought he was going to be MVP. And I really was impressed by Beast Mode in the goal specifically. But let's see what actually we feel on a second watch. I remember this one, Dangerson, kind of a tough spot. Great pass out. Rawas, space, boost, over one. Almost got that deft little touch. Daniel, a lot of space. Look, see, these are those, like, I was talking about these earlier. Those, like, over-the-shoulder passes. NRG had a couple of these in the grand finals. Or, look, the defense is kind of set, and you just put it right over Kalir's. He just can't quite turn to get to that. I'm going to go back and read these comments more thoroughly once this is over. Oh, not the touch Beast Mode wanted. That's a freebie. Beast Mode, no boost. Still gets it. Great pass. Finish? Good look, dangerous look. Gosh, keeps it over one and gets the bump. A little high. Wow. Atomic. Got to finish that. He just can't quite get around it. It just feels like a lot of these, like, NRG are set on a lot of these Falcons approaches. They're not really having to stretch. They're not having to double commit, boost or not. It just seems like they're always kind of ready for it. I mean, look how spaced they are. This is the Roas double demo, right? Yeah. Reminiscent of the when they beat who was that? Was that Twisted Minds, the demo when Daniel goes coast to coast? It was, because he gets it over the top of Atomic, and then was it Beast Mode got a demo in the goal, and Daniel just like rolls it in. Rawas is trying to take, I remember this one, he's trying to take a little bit of like time on a touch, and I see Cactus saying you got to go, so let me get to you. Last question, what do you think Vitality should do in the off season? You know, man, I think they'll I wouldn't be surprised if they move off Monkey Moon. Keep Zen and Exotic. Game 3 overtime. This was huge. Take a little bit of a lead. TRK typically doesn't like turn those over like that and then right over the shoulder. Yeah, why does TRK, it feels like on a different day. Sorry to go back. Feels like on a different day TRK controls this, right? As opposed to just booming out, especially with Roas on the backboard. It just seems like that's a gimme goal. Ahmed, what's up? What's going on? All right, what am I doing? I'm not locking. This isn't for me. It's for the people. So let's get back to some of these comments. Got a queue someday? I'd love to. I'll probably disappoint you with some of my mechs. I hope you're good. Nobu, well, they have the 2/3 were right, and I think somebody, I haven't seen it with my eyes yet, but somebody said, I think that Shift said that Atomic and Rise are out. I don't know if that's true or not, but you would assume that it's some combination of Rock players, Vision players, Alcatia players, up and comers, and then maybe an import. I am East. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Good to see you. You've been watching my content for a while. I appreciate you. I haven't been able to tell you that live yet. Archie come into Vitality. That'd be crazy. I was talking to somebody about this. I don't know, like KC, and obviously they're not like full French because they have a Moroccan and a Belgian, but they're all French speakers. I don't know if they would keep it that way because we were just talking about like all the hypotheticals and it was like Stizzy. And I don't think that they would go that way. They probably want to stay French speaking. And I would assume the same for Vitality, but hey, who knows? After a season like that, you probably consider a lot of stuff, Archie included. Vitality pick up Eugen? I don't know, because didn't somebody else had told me, and I still haven't seen this yet either. But somebody said that Seiko and Juicy are out, so meaning that they're rebuilding around Eugen. So maybe he's not an option. But it was one of the first names I thought of. Beast Mode saying it is similar playstyle to Falcons. Watching the series, he was right. Yeah, for sure. They're both like teams that can play at different paces. And can really get it going offensively, can pressure highly, great defensively, great instincts. Falcons felt a little sloppier than they were in their KC series, and NRG just looked so good. Is that for, I hope that's for this game, George. I will watch. Wow. Huge dunk. What a pass. God. Oh man, he didn't even, was that, who was that? Was that Killiers? Doesn't even get like a second touch on it. Atomic just takes it clean off of him. Really bummed we didn't get Neo Tokyo. Great pass. Rawasta TRK, that's what, 3 of those where it's like, God, what a pass. I like this Clears decal. See what I'm saying though? Where's the inspired self-starter on a lot of these decals? We've seen Neural Network with sparkles on the Octane forever. We've seen that Drally decal forever. There's some classics that you just can't stop, like the TRK, the Mina Finnick, you know. Ross is rocking it too. But just where's the creativity? You know what I'm saying? Rocket League's supposed to be a creative endeavor. It's a creative game. Show me some of your decals. Be like Ixo. Be like Justin. Show me what you got, you know? Is there a world where KC make a move? Sure. I wouldn't, but I could see it. I think the French level has gone down. Yeah, maybe. It's tough because, like, there's really not, like, in the grand scheme of things, there's not, like, that many French players. Like, when you think about how many North Americans there are, like, for what the French have been able to do with, like, the players that they have, it's unbelievable. Like, Europe has been the best for an incredibly long time, and that's almost always attached to a French player. Was it Johnny Boy who said this is the first time since season 2 that they didn't have a French player in the finals? Look at Dan. He knew he was going to be here. I hope they show the second. They probably won't, but they lifted the trophy again, and Daniel was standing in the front of the stage. Great stuff. Great stuff. All right, let's reload this. Let's refresh. Let's have a look at it. Oh, let me show you guys, for those of you who might have joined late. Here, let me move my phone so I can see. Sheets. This is my predictions. Let's walk through it real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. I think once OCE again, I think we once again see EU change it up. Yeah, I agree. Juicy and Seiko teaming was in. Does sound like a contender. Yeah, I've come down a little bit on my Seiko and Juicy stock for sure. Eugen, Stizzy, Nass. Yeah, those are all huge names who definitely leapt up the board. Yeah, it was a great moment with Sathu telling them to, like, calm down because they were very hyped. Let's look at this. So these were my projections. I never put them out because I was just didn't have the time to make a video, and also I was a coward. You'll see why with my finals. I did this exercise multiple times, by the way. Here, let me pull up, like, sheets again. You can probably see all the different times. Hopefully I don't have any, like, personal work stuff in here. I doubt it. But you can see I, like, redid this exercise, like, several times. Like, I had this one and this one and this one, but this is where I landed. And Gingy I thought would roll right through. Ninjas 2, which happened. I had Rebellion just because I'm a homer, of course, and Virtus Pro. Pretty proud of that one, you know? Let me move my phone a little bit here. Carmine I thought would roll. Dig I thought would roll. Who would have thought about Wild Card? GK thought would cruise. And then I thought Jin G, just because I had no idea that Ultimates was going to go that way right here. And I had no idea that Wild Card, of course, was going to go that way. Which, of course, this is the funny thing about doing these predictions. Literally any one change changes the entire, you know, bracket or whatever. Falcons I thought would lose this because Vitality were always so good in groups. That's an oopsie for me. This one was closer than I thought. I thought Vitality were just going to punch him in the mouth. NRG go through. I flip-flopped on this one a bunch. Should have trusted my gut because I had Secret in the first one that I did. Virtus going out. I thought Falcons were going to come through lowers. And then what did that set up for me? I was pretty proud of, like, where I ended. You know what I mean? Where is it, down here? Yeah. Pretty proud of, like, how I kind of got there, you know? Because I had most of the teams. Who did I miss? Who did I miss on? Missed on Well, actually, I didn't do that great. Genji, Dignitas, and Vitality. Yeah. I had energy going all the way, baby. Thought this Dig one would be close. Thought they'd cruise past Vitality. Because, like, you know, it's the semifinals and all the pressure is on them in a French environment. Vitality always beats NRG. And I felt like they would kind of crumble. They just crumbled much earlier than I thought they would. I was really looking forward to this hypothetical series here. And this was, I was close. But I had NRG, and I didn't post it because people would be like, you've been talking about Carmine Core and Falcons and Vitality all season long, and you're going to pick NRG. Anyways, all right, I'm going to wrap up pretty soon here. It's about time for me to go cook some lunch, and then I'm going to start working on a script for the video I put out, hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow since I did this. But just big takeaways, you know, from I keep looking at my phone because I can see my own picture there. I'll look at you guys. Just big takeaways from Worlds. Quick turnaround, 2 months till next season, which is pretty nice. Respect the VP pick. Thank you. Vitality never looked like the best in the world. Yeah, I agree. I just thought they'd get there eventually. Sphinx leaves APAC? You think so? That'd be crazy. I'd assume he would stay, but I could see it. But guys, thank you for showing up for the inaugural YouTube Live. Thanks for all the people who stopped through and commented. I appreciate it. Are we going to do a top 20 team? I would assume we're going to. I'm going to do a lot of content post-Worlds. I already have a lot of stuff in the chamber that I'm excited to get to, have some people on, some stuff to wrap up. And follow me on Twitter if you're not already. When I close this live stream down, I'm going to hop over there and check the tweets a little bit while I start to cook up. Maybe I make a sandwich. So I just got some good turkey. It's with some like jerk seasoning on it. Got some really nice cheddar that I'll slice up and put on that bad boy. I have this great multigrain bread right now, so that sounded pretty good at this point in time. Thank you guys. I think I'm a little delayed, so I'll hang out for a second. Thank you all for hanging out. I appreciate you all a whole lot. So thanks for checking this out and all of my content. YouTube to come in the near future. And until next time, guys, take it easy. All right, and now you guys get to hang around and see me struggle on how to end this because I'm on here, right? How do I turn this off? All right, I'll kill it now. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much.